Hey friends, welcome back to the channel with more His Dark Materials. This is Season 2, Episode 4. Lyra had her alethiometer stolen, and so she and Will are looking for the subtle knife on behalf of Lord Boreal. I assume that's what we're going to get into this episode, so I'm excited to see it in action. If you guys want to watch the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, take a quick moment to leave a like, it really helps the channel, and let's get started.
They forged an instrument, a knife, that in the hands of the right person could cut the very fabric that joins worlds. The guild built a tower in the city of Chitigatsi.
Chitigatsi.
A strange, evil force crept out from the shadows. Spectres.
Whoa, that
And
looks
then
so brutal.
came in the right hands, it could still save us all.
In the right hands. And it cuts to Will when they say that. Tiny little boat.
Lee Scoresby. I thought you'd be more hair than tortoise.
Hey! Who's we? Well, if he can get in, so can we.
So far, my colleague Dr. Malone has evidence of low-level activity, but the hope is to record signs of, dare I say it, conscious behavior. Please do come in. Mary, another all-nighter.
I've always admired women with a good work ethic.
That is an odd compliment.
Shall we sit down?
What organization did you say you worked for?
Defense funding.
I think this conversation is over. Defense funding.
Defense.
Seriously, Oliver, what were you thinking?
I know. We haven't exactly been inundated with offers.
What we're dealing with here is powerful beyond our comprehension. We can't let that fall into the wrong hands.
No, Mary. What we're dealing with here is the fact that you haven't slept in weeks.
It's this door, look, it matches the angels on the tower. Come on.
Kicking it down. Good job, kids.
Care to tell me where we're headed? Or if there's a bacon sandwich at the other end?
Bacon sandwich. Has he not eaten since before he was thrown in jail? There he is.
Do you like soup? Maybe a bacon sandwich?
Oh, bacon sandwich.
Mr.
Bacon
Doppler,
sandwich.
Come here humbly to ask. Here. This was my mother's.
It brought you here.
I'll go first.
No, I'll go first. Seeing as all this is my fault.
Seeing as it's your fault, you've got to do as I say.
They got in. They got in. Is that Angelica? No. He
It could
said.
cut, not just flesh, but spirit. It could slice between worlds. It could kill immortals. We need to find them and take them to Lord Asriel.
I don't like Asriel.
Like him? Who does? This is much, much bigger than that.
Who does?
Don't confuse the man with the mission. There are two forces that have always been at war with each other. Those who repress, who command, who don't want us to be conscious, inquiring beings, and those who want us to know more, to be stronger and wiser, to explore.
But I come here for one reason. And that's a girl named Lyra. Not to help her father.
You love this girl?
Yes.
Yes.
More than Asriel.
Ooh.
He just left her.
He's hurt.
What? He's
Who
bound.
are you?
There's a boy hiding in this tower. He stole the knife from me.
Quick, help
Crap.
me with this.
What do you want?
Look, we need that knife.
Careful, Lyra.
No, it's mine. Get out!
Oh.
Lyra, help him.
Smack him on the head. Oh. Oh, damn it. It's so sharp that it... Holy crap. Oh no, oh no. Old man, old man. Oh. What happened?
Fight. Fight, boy, fight.
His boxing skills. Didn't use those from the start for some reason. Oh wait, did he lose?
Your fingers.
Oh shoot, just like that statue. Whoa. Red Panda Pan.
Where am I?
His fingers too.
You are the bearer of the subtle knife.
I thought my work was more important. Such a fool. For years I tried to get back to them, but the way I came had disappeared.
Oh, damn.
I became a scholar and a shaman to find a way. I'd imagine my astonishment to learn that part of my nature is female. Bird forms. Beautiful.
Wait, so he got a demon afterwards.
If I want to be a father that's good, I need to leave a world for him where he's able to think for himself. Where he's free.
That
That's
fight
why I need to help Azrael.
between those who want you to know and those who don't,
Joffrey.
that exists in our real life.
You swear put Lyra under the protection of that subtle knife. I'll take you wherever you need to go.
Lyra will be under the protection of the knife. The bearer of the knife will have their own task, and that could put Lyra in even greater danger. I cannot speak for the bearer's character.
He doesn't know the bearer is his son, does he?
This edge will cut through any material in the world. The other edge is more subtle still. You can cut an opening out of this world altogether. This is a great burden for one so young. But it's not only the knife that has to cut. It's your own mind. So put your mind at the very tip of the knife. Concentrate, boy.
Cut into Boreal's home and take the alethiometer.
Smallest.
Well, you can do this.
Pan!
Pan touched him.
Rooter, I'm so sorry. Your lands, Lake Lupana.
They destroyed everything. Hundreds of witches are dead. And it is on my conscience. The Magisterium will pay for what they did to us.
Can't wait to see that happen. That is a cool looking knife. I want one.
I saw something.
Holy crap. Ooh.
It's gone.
Now listen. There are 4 things you need to know.
4?
Never open a window without closing it. Never let anyone else use the knife. Don't use it for base purposes. Keep it secret. It mustn't fall into the wrong hands. The knife will protect you. But promise me that you will protect it, too.
So we can steal the alethiometer, right? We don't need to trade the subtle knife for it?
It's Lyra. I found her. A gift. For me.
Take me to another world.
I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering, splendid. He wouldn't want to be taken over by the specters. He would want to rather die. Oh. Is that poison? Just in time. Monkey first? And is he a boy or a man? He wanted it. He wanted the knife to defend himself from the specters. Run! No, it's over.
Don't worry, I'm not looking. Coming up backwards.
Aww.
Just bringing towels.
This
I'm
pan
so
going
sorry, Will.
backwards too.
We've got to get the lithiumeter back. So we'll have to steal it. Together.
Aww.
Wait till you see her fly.
Wait,
When'd you get
it back?
Looks like our shaman's all hat and no cattle.
I thought you could control stuff. It's working.
Ask a question.
Oh, she was shocked.
Are you shadows?
Yes.
So dark matter is conscious?
Evidently.
Evidently.
There's more than one of you?
Uncountable billions.
Uncountable billions.
What are you?
Angels.
Angels. She came into science to escape from nunnery.
Angels have intervened in human evolution. But why?
Vengeance.
Vengeance? The witches. You see her already.
2, 3, 4 incoming flying objects.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh. That was just 4 of them. And now the path is open for Lee. What a fantastic episode. Oh my god, it just keeps getting better and better. We're a little more than halfway through the season now, and only 3 episodes left, and things are really starting to ramp up. I really wonder how this was written in book form as opposed to how it's being shot, because it feels like on every single front we're building towards some sort of climax, and it's super, super exciting. The intro was spectacular. I don't think we've had a scene like that where the narrator just gives us expository information, but it worked really, really well. It was like the telling of a legend. It was like a bedtime story almost. It was great. And apparently the philosophers and the guild forged this knife and left it up to the people to use it for personal gain or to send humanity on the right path. And past bearers seem to have used it poorly. I don't know. I feel like I'd try to do both for sure. I would try to use it for personal gain and to put humanity on the right path. There's no way I could just resist a little bit of personal gain, because I don't think I would ever flaunt it or make it build up my ego that much, but finding enough material wealth so that I'd never have to work again, and then that would open me up to have so much more time that I can use this ridiculously overpowered knife to help people all across the world, right? Across dimensions even, right? But yeah, like, if Will can't use the knife for personal gain, at some point after he grows up, he'll need to get a full-time job, have so many responsibilities. What time is there to help people if you don't help yourself? So I feel like there has to be a balancing act. I don't think that just cutting yourself off from benefiting from the knife at all seems fair, but I don't know. If you go into excess, obviously, and hoard trinkets and wealth like the previous bearers did, that's a different story, but yeah, never using it for personal gain at all seems super, super harsh. And I feel like the narration was saying that the specters were born from using the knife for selfish reasons too. I'm not entirely sure about that, but it seemed like that was the case. But putting yourself in a better situation so that you can help others more, I feel like that is some sort of middle ground, right? I wonder if the specters would come for me if I did that, if I tried to use the knife to just make myself not rich, but just well off enough that I don't have to worry about anything. I can just go and help people with this knife. It feels kind of like Spider-Man, kind of, right? Because specifically like early Peter Parker, who has to deal with school, family life, spidering and poverty all at once. So if he used his gifts to make some money, he'd have more energy and ability to save more people, I would argue, right? But then is that an abuse of his power? And would that be an abuse of his power for the knife as well? So morality isn't always black and white here. So I'm very curious. What do you guys think? What do you think is the right answer here? Or if there is a right answer at all? And I bring all of this up because I feel like Will have to face off against these rules at some point. Or these, just these rules at some point. And it'll be fascinating to see. Joe Parry / Grumman said he summoned Lee. And he's a freaking shaman, apparently. I thought he had some magical powers going back to the last episode when he started, like, using the wind to send Lee wherever. But originally, I thought it was the ring that had magical properties. I didn't think he had magical properties. But yeah, he was using his own powers to use the ring to summon Lee, since Lee recognized the ring as having belonged to his mother over 20 years ago. So not clear on the story with what that ring is and how he recognizes. I can't tell you what my mom's rings look like. I don't know, but maybe it's her wedding ring. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it holds significance to Lee, and he also seemed a lot more aggressive once he saw the ring too. So I don't know, maybe we'll learn more about the ring and its connection to him, or maybe it's just a way to show us Joe Parry's powers. And then Joe Parry also has a demon, despite being from Will's world, our world. Plus, it can travel really, really far away from him, which I'm surprised that Lee wasn't more surprised by. We know witches can send their demons quite far away. Marissa Coulter can send the monkey quite far away as well, but that's not supposed to be happen. That's not supposed to be possible with most humans. So it's interesting because is it because he got a demon after coming to this world, or is it because he became a shaman or a scholar that he was able to research ways to make his demon go further away from him? And if Will stays long enough in a world with demons, can he get one himself like his father did? I'd really look forward to that as well. And Joe Parry knows that the knife will find a new bearer, talks about how he will help Lee, but that he cannot know the intentions of the bearer of the subtle knife, and he doesn't know if the bearer will put Lyra in even deeper danger. Little does he know that Will do almost anything to defend Lyra. Little does he know that his own dang son is the next bearer in the first place. Andrew Scott is really good, though. I've seen him only before as Moriarty in Sherlock. I think that's all I've seen him in. And so there's delivery in some of his lines in this show that remind me of that. There was a moment in Sherlock when he says he'll skin Sherlock. And I was reminded of that when he said that the knife can slice between worlds. It's just, you have to go back and listen to the way he says it. It's very similar to me. It gave me the same sort of feeling. And I thought that was interesting as all. I think he's also said that the knife can kill immortals. And that includes angels then, right? So he can cut through dark matter as well. Is that what I'm getting? It'll be really interesting to see. But I feel like that's not insignificant. And especially since we don't know if angels are technically good or bad, considering what we hear from Mary Malone later, the angel who talks to Mary Malone later about wanting vengeance. I don't know what that is about, but we'll talk a bit more about that later. Joe Parry wants to take the new bearer to Asriel, though, talking about how there's a war between those who would suppress the truth and those who would bring it to the light. And that's such an interesting dynamic, because the book this show is based on The Subtle Knife was written in 1997, or published in 1997. And for me, living in 2020, I get caught up in all the different ways that those in power try to do the same thing now, try to cover up important information to manipulate the masses. I mean, in the show, we saw the previous cardinal in this story wanting to cover up this whole freaking huge hole in the sky, and that just seems so ridiculous, but they do similar things in the real world. They try to cover up such humongous things that are just so incredibly visible if people just think for a second. Because there's so much misinformation now. I just finished the commentary for another TV show, talking about Pat Tillman and how the U.S. government is bastardizing his legacy by using him as a recruitment tool for the military, despite the fact that he hated the war he was fighting in and wanted to expose it to the general public. He's probably the most famous soldier in modern history. He gave up a lucrative football deal to go fight in the military after 9/11, and then heavily regretted it. And yeah, the U.S. government now he was killed by friendly fire, despite having 3 bullets in his head and nobody else in his unit getting injured. I'm pretty convinced that he was assassinated because he wanted to expose the U.S. government and the U.S. military. But anyway, beyond that, the whole premise behind the Iraq War was BS in the first place. Right now in the United States, those who wish to keep the truth a secret are winning, but the other side, the right side, is making strides. It's just, even regular people know that there's a larger truth out there, and so because of the internet age, and so there are forces out there trying to mislead them too now, or they convince themselves of a truth that could not be farther from the truth. There's QAnon, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers, people who think the moon landing was fake. It's just, it would be highly conspiracy theorist of me to say that those in power helped foster those communities so that the focus is there instead of where it should be, in uncovering actual things that the people in power are trying to hide. The people in power definitely don't try to dissuade those communities of their notions. They don't try to inform the people. And I understand the impulse of all those people who follow those things, those conspiracy theories. I understand the impulse they have for wanting something more in life, wanting more truth. But what they're doing is rooted in nothing close to the truth. It's just, I'm getting off on a tangent. My point is that it's really interesting framing that Will's father makes about the state of the world. It's a war, an ongoing war for hundreds of years between those who would suppress knowledge and those who would spread knowledge to everybody. Super fascinating topic. And can't wait to see how this continues in the book, and whether or not there are, or in the show, and whether or not there are ways in the show that people spread knowledge that could be applicable to real life. And yeah, Will's father wanting to leave a world behind for Will where he can learn everything he wants to and be free. That was pretty beautiful as well. And we have Lord Boreal revealing to Miss Marissa Coulter the whereabouts of Lyra and how he'll help her get her back. Offers her up as a gift. And his snake came damn near close to touching Marissa Coulter. And I don't know if that was a little flirty or not, or something. And you see, the thing is, I'm not sure if he's playing her in some way or if she's playing him in some way. I did not get the feeling before this scene that he was interested in her at all as a romantic interest or even as a human being. So I don't know what he was doing there, putting his hand on her and having his demon so close to her. Because we saw earlier on that with Pan touching Will, that was an act of caring, an act of love, not necessarily romantic love, but like love all the same. So juxtaposing that with Boreal's demon almost touching Marissa Coulter, and I don't know what exactly to think. Does that mean he's interested in her, or is he playing her, right? But yeah, super interesting to think about. And then, so many things to talk about in this episode. Mary Malone confronted by Boreal, trying to invest as a defense contractor. Very good. I feel like I love Mary Malone's character so much. She makes the correct move, the righteous move every single time. I'm a little surprised at Boreal, though. Boreal couldn't have said something else, like anything else. Like, I'm from, I don't know, just some research group that has nothing to do with defense. I guess he could have straight up lied to her, I guess. But then I also don't know if she would have. I don't think he knows that. I mean, there's no way he knows that she can now speak to the machine, because even she didn't know then. So she wouldn't have been able to get the real truth out of him anyway, right? I don't know. But yeah, I'm worried about her colleague, Mary's colleague, going behind her back and pulling something through for the funding with Boreal, though. But yeah, hopefully she can suss out what's going on. Now that she can talk to dark matter. Super cool moment. Got some really important answers. It's super interesting that she went into science to get away from piety, and now she's thrust back into it with the existence of angels, of which there are uncountable billions. And she asks if they've interfered with the evolution of, intervened on the behalf of the evolution of human beings, and the angels said they did, for the sake of vengeance. So it became from like a really cool scene where we're fascinated and excited, and then it just takes a complete twist. Because what the heck does vengeance mean? Because that sounds really, really bad. I don't know what they... Like, did humans do something to angels once, and so they put them on a path of suffering, and that's their way of getting vengeance? Or are the angels grooming humans into something that can face off against an even greater threat that has once wronged the angels? I feel like both of those are possible, and there's not enough clues or information to make a educated guess about which one it is. I haven't even talked about the knife yet this episode though. This episode was just chock full of so many cool things. The knife, Lyra and Will find their way to the previous bearer, only to find out that this boy had stolen the knife. It didn't occur to me until later on that he was doing it for his own protection, because he was growing up. The specters were going to be coming after him. And there's two interesting things about this. If he had come to Will and Lyra after they got the knife and he had asked for their protection, I'm almost completely sure that they would have been more than happy to give it. Secondly, he stole it because he wanted to protect himself, but he also committed a lot of violence. He cut off Will's fingers. So did that very act and the violence that ensues, did that turn him from a boy into a man? Because he wasn't attacked before this. He was attacked after he attacked Will, right? I know this change is technically referring to like puberty and turning from a kid to an adult, but it also feels like it could refer to like a spiritual maturation as opposed to just physical. And so him attacking Will, cutting off his fingers, did that change him enough inside to become an adult and meet his end at the hand of the specters? It just feels like there was a different way forward for him, and he didn't need to die. But based on his actions, it was decided that he had to by the specters. The knife was so sharp, though. We saw it cut through things like nothing. We saw it in the beginning. The narration had a statue of a hand with some parts of a finger missing, and then those were the same that were cut off of Will, and then the previous bearer as well. That was kind of mind-blowing. But yeah, heck of a thing, isn't it? Those who bear the knife all have to face dismemberment of their hands. For the power it holds, feels like it's worth it, but still a damn shame to lose fingers. And I didn't realize that Will was wrapping his hand to prevent it from getting cut. I thought it might be to like protect his fists while he like punches the guy out with his boxing skills. But he gets cut anyway despite wrapping up his hand because the thing is freaking sharp as heck. And the way it sliced through the metal angel wings, the way it landed in the ground, it was really, really cool to see. And yeah, Will eventually wins by punching him out, but after he faints after seeing his hands bleeding like crazy. And after he woke up from his wounds, the previous bearer was showing him how to use it, and there's an even sharper edge, a more subtle edge, he said, that can cut through freaking dimensions. It's so cool. It's so cool. The alethiometer, like the alethiometer and the subtle knife are both, the golden compass and the subtle knife are both such cool devices, and I'm really looking forward to the final item. It's the title of the third book. I won't spoil it for you guys, but I don't know. I have no clue what it does, but I do know what it's called. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing that next season. But yeah, now that he can sense individual strings when he became one with the knife, and each string belongs to a completely different world, they could go anywhere. This is an explorer's like greatest dreams, endless worlds to explore, endless possibilities. He could explore for the rest of his life and probably not even scratch the surface. Though that would in itself be a selfish act, right? A self-serving act, because he would be doing it out of, I don't know. Hopefully there's something out there that requires him to open a whole bunch of doors and explore a whole bunch of places, because that would be super fun. But hopefully he can serve other people by doing that as well. But yeah, he's given 4 rules. Never open a window without closing it. Makes sense. Never let anyone else use it. I was like, not even Lyra? Really? Okay. Don't use it for base impulses, which, yeah, I already started my commentary with a spiel about that. And the 4th one, keep it a secret, which is very good advice as well. So with all this, they can't just hand it over to Borealis, and so later, when Lyra goes to see Will while he's in the tub, and she's like coming up the stairs backwards, that was really funny. And then Pan was going backwards too, which was super cute. Pan does sneak a peek though. Does that betray Lyra's feelings? Does she want to sneak a little peek as well? Does she have a little crush there? So I really wonder about that. But yeah, she tries to see where his head is at, and he says they'll need to steal the alethiometer back together. And she smiles this really, really great smile. One is that is just so full of joy and relief, because she knows at this point Will can't give up the knife. But she might even have thought that he would abandon her at this point, now that he has something that could lead him to his father even without her. Because he could just keep cutting until he finds him, right? But she's super happy that it's important for him to help her anyway, to get her the alethiometer back. So it's super cool seeing the bond between them develop, and I really, really love that a lot. And yeah, and then the last scene in the episode, the witches starting to take their revenge, taking out the ships at the Magisterium around the anomaly. Always so freaking cool to see the witches in action. There was only 4 of them, and they took out so many ships. And yes, still powerful as a group, despite the hundreds they lost. I think I heard Ruda, I believe her name's Ruda, is guilt-ridden for sure. But they move on to find Lyra, while I think destroying all those ships possibly opens up the path for Lee behind them as well. So yeah, it's really, really cool. This episode was spectacular. Can't wait to see more. Can't wait to see how the last 3 episodes wrap this up. This commentary lasted almost 20 minutes, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys just enjoyed the reaction. If you guys want to see the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Take a quick moment to leave a like. It really helps with the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, friends.